Whenever I'm sitting in a theater waiting for the show to begin, I pray, "Dear God, let it be a good show, and let it be short, O Lord in heaven, please." 2 hours fine, 3 hours too much, and keep the actors out of the audience. My God, I didn't pay good money to have the fourth wall come crashing down around my ears. I just want a story, a few good songs. I want to be taken away. I mean, that's the point, isn't it? Amen. It used to be while you were sitting there in the theater, you thought, what have George and Ira Gershwin got for us tonight? Or can Cole Porter pull it off again? Can you imagine? Now it's please Elton John, must we continue this charade? It used to be while you were sitting there, you knew that once the show began, you'd be transported, taken to another world, a world full of color, music. Then you thought, my God, when are they going to bring up the lights? Oh, how things have changed. Hello, how are we today? Not so quiet. I'm feeling a little blue myself. You know, a little anxious for no particular reason. A little sad I should be feeling anxious at this age. You know, a little subconscious anxiety resulting in non-specific sadness. A state that I call blue. Anyway, whenever I'm feeling this way blue, I like to listen to my music. So I was going through my box of records this morning. Yes, records. And I was going to put on Meredith Willson's The Music Man. I had a craving for young Ronnie Howard. And then I said, no, let's have a treat. Let's disappear in the decadent world in 1928. Champagne flowed, caviar chilled, and the whole world was a party. For the wealthy, anyways. So I dug about, and what did I find but one of my favorite shows, Gable and Stein's The Drowsy Chaperone. Remember? Music by Julie Gable, lyrics by Sidney Stein. It's a 2-record set remastered from its original recording in 1928, with the full original cast, and Beatrice Stockwell as the Drowsy Chaperone. Isn't she elegant? Now, this was a full 15 years before she became Dame Beatrice Stockwell. Can you imagine? Let me read you what it says on the back. It reads, "Mix-ups, mayhem, and a gay wedding." Of course, the phrase gay wedding has a different meaning now, but back then it just meant fun, and that's all this show is fun. So, would you let me indulge you? Would you let me play the record? I was hoping you'd say that. I love that sound. You mean the sound of a time machine. Alright. Now imagine if you will. It's November 1928. You just arrived at the doors of the Morosville Theater in New York. It's very cold outside. Remember when it used to be cold in November? Not anymore. November's the new August, and it's global warming. We're all doing it. It's very cold outside, but you don't care, because you're going to see a Broadway show. Listen. Isn't it wonderful? It helps if you close your eyes. Overtures. Overtures are so out of style. I miss them. It's the show's way of welcoming you. Hello, welcome. Your meal will be served shortly, but in the meantime, would you like an appetizer? That's what an overture is, a musical appetizer, a poo-poo platter of tunes, if you will. Ooh. This is new. Sounds kind of dancing, kind of rollicking, maybe pirates. Don't worry, there are no pirates. Now this is it. The moment when the music starts to build, and you know that in just a few moments you're going to be transported, taken away to another world.
How do I look?
You look radiant, Mrs. Toshendale.
Oh, I do love this dress so. It never goes out of style.
It's a miracle, madam.
My dress, my fancy dress. I don't know why I'm wearing it, I must confess. My dress, I love my dress. Would someone tell me why I put it on?
Yes, your dress, your fancy dress. 'Twas such a pleasure airing it, restitching and repairing it. God bless your dress, it's one fine dress, and I will tell you why you put it on. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime, you're the hostess and it's happy wedding time. Wedding bells will ding, wedding bells will dawn, wedding bells will jingling and people ding along.
Your dress, your fancy dress. We're very, very glad you put it on.
Wedding guests have come,
Wedding guests are here. Wedding guests are at the door and soon they will appear.
the bridegroom I'm here to marry Janet. That's all of Elsie's follies whom I love a lot. I'm George, that's George, his best man George. I'm honored to be doing what a best man ought. Mrs. Tottenham, now don't worry, this whole wedding's gonna run like clockwork. The key is organization, you see. Each string on my finger is another task yet to be completed. Book the minister, pay the musicians, yell at the florist. This whole wedding's gonna run like clockwork.
Oh, is there going to be a wedding?
I'm Felting, producer. I lost my leading lady. I gotta stop this wedding or I might get shot.
I'm kidding, just kidding. I came with Mr. Felting. I'll be a leading lady if I get my shot.
We're pastry chefs. We're pastry chefs. We cross our hearts. We're pastry chefs. No bakery. A bakery is what we got. My name is Adolfo. I am the king of romance, so I feel so hard.
Wedding bells will ring. Wedding bells will chime. Wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding time. Someone has to come. Someone needs to hear. Where is Janet Vandergraff and when will she appear? It's Janet, it's Janet, it's Janet Vandergraff. Janet Vandergraff. You can marry a woman once, giving up a life forever. Time and my legs. I'm the chaperone of Janet Vandergraff, maid of honor, friend and confidant, and all that rot. Where's the bar? No wedding, no wedding, no wedding.
It's prohibition, madam.
No wedding, no wedding, no wedding. I think I brought my own. No wedding, no wedding, today. Champagne makes me drowsy. It's really happening. Truly happening. Almost happening. What is happening? I'm Trix, the aviatrix of the sky. I circle through the stratus in my modern apparatus. I'm Trix, the aviatrix. I gotta fly. I'll see you anytime and night. No wedding, no wedding. Ding-a-ling,
Ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling.
no wedding, no wedding, no wedding's coming our way.
And there we have it, folks. All the guests have arrived. We have a bride giving up the stage for love. Her feminine bridegroom, a harried seducer, jovial ringsters posing as pastry chefs, a flaky chlorine, a Latin ethereal, and an aviatrix, what we now just call a lesbian. And of course, my favorite character, the Drowsy Chaperone. What more do you need for an evening's night of entertainment?
Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime, wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding
league along. I don't even know what that means. All right, I'll get you through this record as best as I can. Don't worry, it won't be hard to follow. We begin with the welcome from our love-struck groom.
Well, I'd just like to thank you all for coming. I tell you, I must be some lucky fellow. Why, who would have thought that I, Robert Martin, would be marrying a glamorous showgirl, and that glamorous showgirl would be willing to give up a successful career for me, Robert Martin. Now, if it weren't for prohibition, I'd say let's raise a glass.
Ah, here, here.
To Miss Janet Vandergraff, the most beautiful girl in the world.
Absolutely not. Excuse me. The groom mustn't see his bride on the wedding day. It's bad luck.
I hope you heard that, because that's the plot. Basically, hang on for the ride.
Breakfast will be served in the Arabian group.
Say, isn't it a little early in the morning to be drinking?
I don't understand the question.
Right. Look, you just make sure Janet doesn't run into Robert. You got that? You're the chaperone. That's your only job.
I won't, Capitan. Robert, who's my little monkey?
I am. I'm your little monkey.
So the bride and groom are whisked away, and we turn our attention to the B plot, which involves our producer.
Getting married and leaving show.
Announcing!
Doesn't she know I got obligations?
Announcing! I can be your new leading lady. You said it yourself, I'm useless in the chorus.
For the last time, you ain't got what it
And
takes.
I've been taking lessons, singing and acting and ballet.
Ballet?
Yeah! I've been getting pretty good too. Last week I auditioned for Swanee Lake.
Oh, God.
A little annotation. Kitty and Phelps, who were a couple in real life, Jack and Sadie Adler. Now, this is a familiar comic construct, a stupid woman and her long-suffering companion. Well, she appears stupid, but in the end does something clever, and makes everyone wonder whether it was all just an act. The irony here is, she was actually quite stupid. Jack had to explain all the jokes to her, apparently. But still, she lived a wonderful life on stage. Back then, the theater was the only place a stupid person could earn a decent living. That is, of course, until television.
Ah, Kitty, I ain't got time for this.
A petite for Mr. Phelpsy.
Not now.
Perhaps a nice bit of roll.
Boys, I'm not hungry.
Then perhaps we can give you something else to chew on. Yeah, something like food.
What?
Your confusion is to be expected. Although we stand here before you in the guise of innocent pastry chefs, we are also, and primarily, employees of a certain individual.
A certain individual?
A certain individual who happens to be the largest single investor in Phelpsy's Follies. He has sent us here, as pastry chefs, to express his concerns about Miss Vandergraff's impending nuptials. Specifically, that if she gets married and leaves the show, then there ain't no show.
Say, don't I know you two?
No, you don't.
Have you ever spent any time in Toledo?
Have you ever spent any time in a coma?
No, but I know a cousin in Seattle.
Boys, you tell your boss this wedding is never gonna happen. You have my word.
We'll take your word, all right. But to go back on that word would be a recipe for disaster. Now, we hope we made ourselves perfectly clear. One can only hope. It's gotta be kidding me. I tried too much. They don't talk with me.
All right, you can drop the relationship. I get it.
Alas, we ganache. Well, lamb. Lamb's an entree, you macaroon.
The gates were paid by the Small Brothers, who weren't actually brothers at all. They supposedly hit it off for a while when they met in federal prison. After entertaining many of their cellmates, they were hired by the producers of the Drowsy Chaperone to bring in audiences.
We'll leave the matter in your hands, Mr. Phelpsy. In the meantime, feel free to browse the dessert carousel. Try the Toledo surprise. It's the die for.
Holy cats! Mr. Bouncy! Mr. Bouncy! They're gangsters.
Yeah, very perceptive. Now go powder your face. Oh, God. I gotta stop this wedding. But how? Oh, good Lord in heaven, how? How?
I always thought this moment was a little overdone. But with the story well on its way, let's go to the groom's room. dashing Percy Hyman. He started out as an Albright toothpaste man. His fabulous smile adorned every tube. Albright was hugely popular in the early 20s because it contained cocaine. It's true. If you look at the label, it was the 5th ingredient down, right after sugar. But it wasn't long after he became a huge matinee idol.
Now, it's perfectly normal for the groom to be nervous on his wedding day. It is? Of course.
Now, some people say he was a bad actor, but to those people I say, shut up.
Hey there, Mr. Mirror-Man, shaking and quaking, trembling like them fraidy cats do. Something big be bothering. Cold feet, brother, you've got cold feet. You can make them cold feet hot with a little bit of rhythm. Young feet, old feet, and the uncontrolled feet. You can make them cold feet hot. Now the frosty arches, they can learn to swing. Icy toes can jump. Wedding marches, waiting like on swing, make rigid souls come alive and take that dive. Cold feet, turn them into cold feet. You can make them cold feet hot.
Well, you don't say. Well, why don't you just slide back into your mud hole, you backstabbing worm? Well, I guess I gotta find another minister. Say, what are you up to?
I'm singing a Dixie remedy for wedding day dinners.
Oh, you think you've got jitters? You've got the easy part. I've got the weight of the wedding on my shoulders. I've still got the rice, veneers, and a minister.
Lord, it sounds like you got cold feet.
What do I got?
Cold feet.
What do I want?
Cold feet.
What do I do? Scold beats? No! Make the cold feet.
Follow me, Georgie. Ho. Here we go.
Wow!
A 5, 6, 7, 8.
Make the cold feet hot. Make the cold feet hot. Make the cold feet hot.
saw him on the news celebrating his 100th birthday. To say the past years have taken their toll on him would be a grotesque understatement. They wheeled him out, and he had that wide-eyed expression of pained confusion on his face that God reserves for the very, very old. You know the one that says, "Who are you? Who am I? Why is this cake on fire?" You know what I mean?
Oh, that's enough of that. Dancing around like a fool.
Robert George, I'm just trying to calm my nerves. It is my wedding day, after all.
Well, you could have snapped an ankle. Tap dancing is too dangerous. Why don't you, go out for a skate instead? That's what I do when I want to blow off some steam.
George, what would I do without you?
Oh, wait. You can't go out like that. You might see Janet. Here, put on this blindfold.
George, you think of everything.
Hey, no more tap dancing.
Just ignore it. It does this occasionally. It rings. It'll stop soon. Just ignore it. What? What is it? What do you want? Oh, that's it. Moment ruined. Thank you, life. It's like a cell phone going off in the theater. God, I hate that. Hello, how are you? Oh, I'm in the theater ruining the moment. How about you? I couldn't get out tonight, so I thought I'd ruin the moment by proxy. I'm sorry. Let's just shake that off. Let's go back into our mindset in 1928. They didn't have cell phones in 1928, but I'm sure they had something for ruining the moment. Like bugles or something. So the scene shifts, and we turn our attention to the glamorous Janet Van de Graaff as she entertains questions for reporters as she lounges by the pool.
Miss Van de Graaff, is it true that you're giving away such a career to marry a man called No?
Yes. Robert and I met on the Lido deck of the Ile de France. He amused me with stories of his father's oil interests. We spooned, briefly, and then he proposed.
So you won't be returning to the stage, ever?
I shan't.
You shan't.
I shan't. One more question?
I have a question.
Yes.
Why would anyone put olives in a gift?
Hey, I got a question. How could you give up living in the footlights when you know very well you got grease paint in your veins?
Victor, please.
Ah, Janet, I'm begging you. Dump with the mug. Stay with the Follies. I'll give you anything you ask for. Fine. I'll put your name above mine on the marquee.
Oh, Victor, if you think this is about vanity, you couldn't be more wrong. I don't want to show off no more. I don't want to sing tunes no more. I don't want to ride moons no more. I don't want to show off. I don't want to wear this no more. Play the saucy Swiss miss no more. Blow my signature no more. I don't want to show off. Don't try to control me. I've made up my mind, and that's it. I quit. I'm leaving it all behind. I don't want to be
Yeah, can't you see it's killing us all?
Don't worry, boys. This isn't over yet!
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't do an encore.
I don't wanna. I'm the audience roar no more. I don't wanna show.
That was Jane Roberts as the bride. She was the oops girl, remember? Surely you remember. Don't you people read? She was billed as the girl whose sexual energy was so strong it caused the men around her to have accidents. You know, spill the drinks, drive the cars into trees, and she would go, oops! Well, I'm really not doing it justice, but the people ate it up. She had a whole series of films. Oops, the Oops Girl Come Home, Oops Girl at Sea, with one and all school for special effects.
Okay, so begging and groveling didn't work. Now on to plan B. And for that I'm gonna need an accomplice. Yeah. Someone gullible with loose morals. I need a, what do you call him? I need a European. Excuse me?
In walks Adolfo, self-proclaimed ladies' man. Adolfo was played by a former sailing film star and world-class alcoholic, Roman Bartali. He was the one who later drank himself to death in his chateau in Nice. Remember, they found his body 5 days later, and by that time it was consumed by his poodles. It was only partially consumed.
I don't believe we've met.
I am Adolfo.
You are Adolfo?
I am Adolfo.
Not the Adolfo.
Yes, I am Adolfo.
Say, that's funny. You don't look like a scoundrel.
Yes. What?
Why, just now, I overheard the groom saying that Adolfo was a scoundrel. I just heard him say that.
Adolfo's a scoundrel.
Those very words.
Adolfo is a scoundrel!
It's like I'm hearing it again.
I can't believe he's saying this to people. To beautiful women with breasts making love. Why,
You must take matters into your own hands.
Yes, I must take this groom into my own hands and kill him.
Yes. No. Don't kill him. Just hurt him. Enough so he can't get married.
Ah, yes. Show me to this groom.
All right.
Wait! What kind of man is this groom? A big man?
No.
A burly fellow?
Well, he's big on the outside.
No. Adolfo does not fight big men. Small, pale, weasy little dwarf men. But wait. No big men.
So you're a lover, not a fighter.
Ah, yes. Adolfo was a lover. Some may say king of romance.
Well, you know what they say, Adolfo. The best way to get revenge on a man is through his...
Door.
No. The best way to get back at a man is through his...
Window.
No, revenge. Back at a man through his...
What is this? There are no other ways. I'm not Santa Claus coming down chimney.
Through his woman.
Through his woman.
You must seduce the woman.
His woman.
Right.
Yes, Adolfo will make love to the bride. That will show people Adolfo is no scoundrel.
Yes.
Show me to this bride.
All right.
Wait. What kind of woman is this bride? A woman? A burly woman?
No. She's the cat's pajamas.
Pajamas.
Yes. You know, like the an attractive woman?
Ah, show me to this cotton pajama. Like a cotton pajama.
Certainly couldn't get away with a performance like that nowadays, could you? Mature contemporary audiences are much too sophisticated for broad racial stereotypes, so we banished them to Disney, let the children sort it out.
Underling.
Yes, madam.
The pastry chefs have been kind enough to provide the liquor for the party. But remember, Underling, you must be discreet.
Yes, madam.
It's prohibition after all.
I'm aware of that, madam.
You have to use code words. For instance, if someone asks for a glass of ice water, it really means they want a glass of vodka. Have you got that?
Yes, madam.
Are you sure? Maybe you should write it down.
I understand, madam. A glass of ice water means a glass of vodka.
What's a glass of ice water?
Vodka.
Ice water?
Vodka.
Ice water?
Vodka.
Well, you see, that's settled then. One less thing to do. Oh, Underling, might I please have a glass of ice water? I found our meeting with the pastry chefs rather trying, and I would enjoy a glass of refreshing ice water.
Your ice water, madam.
That was your vodka, you boo!
I hate this scene.
Well, now I know.
Ice water, madam?
Yes, ice water. Are you going deaf?
Would that I were.
You can see where this is going, right? It's just a series of spit takes.
Ice water, madam.
That was your vodka, you boo!
You know, in some ways, the Drowsy Chaperone was quite progressive. A black actor playing the best man, for example.
Your ice water, madam.
That was your vodka, you boo!
Yes, some elements were quite progressive. Others were stale in 1928. You know what? I'm just going to skip ahead.
That was... Where do you think you're going?
To find some lime juice, madam.
Lime juice? For heaven's sake, why?
I'm going to wring out my eyebrows and make myself a gimlet.
Now, I'm sure you're asking yourself, what was that routine doing in the show? Well, it's very simple. There's a scene coming up, and they need a time for set change. It's mechanics. It's like adult films. Let me say what I meant by that. In adult films, the story is simplistic. How do I pay for a pizza being the classic example. My point is, as in a musical, the story exists only to connect to the more larger, more engaging production numbers. What? Well, what kind of society do we live in if I can't explain the similarities between adult films and musical theater?
In a few hours, I am going to be Mrs. Robert Martin. Oh, my head is spinning.
Oh, yes. Like the mad whirlwind.
Now, this is a very interesting scene. This is the only time in the show that Jane Roberts and Beatrice Stockwell are on stage alone together. Now, Jane Roberts was an emerging star, and Beatrice Stockwell was already well established and forced to contend with.
I'm so full of apprehension. But I suppose that's normal considering the circumstances. Have you ever been married, Chaperone?
Oh, no. I prefer to drink for pleasure, not out of necessity.
Ice water, madam. I'm afraid we're out of olives.
Have you ever been married, Underling?
Heavens no, madam. If I'm going to serve a woman, I prefer to be paid for my efforts.
I know it seems crazy to give up a successful career to marry a man I hardly know. Somehow, when I look into his eyes, his big monkey eyes, I get all woozy. And that's love, isn't it?
Not necessarily. The wooziness could be caused by a number of things. I mean, I'm woozy right now. Certainly not the one.
Now, Beatrice Stockwell was known for her rousing anthems. She entertained and inspired people in every range of world conflict, up to and including the Falkland War. Of course, by that time she was in her late 80s, and her anthems didn't so much rouse, they stupefy. But still, she demanded a rousing anthem in every show she ever did, even if it wasn't important. But you just couldn't say no to her. That's the star power.
Really, you're not being the least bit helpful. Could you at least allay my fears with a few choice words of inspiration?
Inspiration. Really take that to not my forte.
Oh, yes, but
On life's funny journey, as we stumble along into the we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure of where to turn or what to do.
the needs and concerns of others. My mother was like that.
That was quite nice, Chaperone, but I still don't see how it pertains to my situation.
Well, that's just something you'll have to decide for yourself.
I just don't know if Robert loves me.
Well, why don't you ask him? Why don't you say, Roger, do you love me?
It's Robert. It's your job to keep me away from him.
Oh, you're right. And I take my responsibilities very seriously. It's just, however, this moment I'm feeling rather drowsy. And I'm going to have a lie down. Now, whatever you do, don't go into the garden seeking out the one answer on which your future happiness depends.
Oh, thank you, Chaperone. I just have to know if he loves me.
Such a skinny little fool. Still, I envy her. Oh, when will love come through my door?
Look who it is, Adolfo come to seduce the bride.
I am Adolfo.
Try not to think about the poodles while you're listening to this.
I am Adolfo, you are bride.
No, I am not.
This is the bridal suite. You are the only one in here, therefore you must be the bride.
Interesting argument, but I'm afraid you're wrong.
What?
Me, no bride. Perhaps I could take a message.
Yes, very good. Dear Vanograph bride, I must make love to you and transport you to sooner is better, sighed Adolfo. King of Roma.
Well, you found me out. You saw through my little ruse.
Ah, so you are the bride.
Apparently, yes.
No, not Adolfo's face. Adolfo. You must remember my name for when we are making love and you are screaming it. You must have the right name or else you will spoil everything. How can I make you remember? I'm sure that you have heard the name of Adolfo. The ladies' man who wins the name of Adolfo. The loveliness I am, the second Adolfo. I introduce myself. I am Adolfo.
Oh, nice to meet you, shall we?
Not so fast. So just in case you didn't hear Adolfo, I will make it very clear, Adolfo. The lovely ladies always cheer Adolfo. When I repeat myself, I am Adolfo. I can sing it high, Adolfo. I can sing it low, Adolfo. Sing it very fast.
A real Latin lover, not a buffoon. But that's what musical theater is all about, right? Romantic fantasies, falling in love with the drop of the hat, spontaneous tingling, suddenly finding yourself in the most romantic scene.
I'm an accident waiting to happen. Don't worry, madam. I'm getting married today, so I have to wear a blindfold. I'm sorry. Who am I speaking to anyhow?
Why, it's me. Me from France.
This seems to be more ridiculous.
So, you were marrying Jeanette Van der Graaf, no?
Oui.
I hear she is very beautiful
Oui.
and glamorous.
Ah, oui, oui.
Is it true that she has an exceptionally broad range and excels at playing both dramatic and comedic roles?
Say, I'm having trouble placing your accent. What part of France were you from?
Oh, the middle part where they make the toast? So, you were telling me about your, how do you say it in English, fiancé?
That's right.
When was the moment when you first knew she was the only one for you?
It's a funny story, actually. We were standing on the Lido deck of the Ile de France.
Yes.
I was amusing her with stories of my father's oil interests.
Never happened.
And then I looked into her eyes. Her big, glamorous eyes, and felt all woozy.
And then you fell. And then you fell?
Yes, right on my keister. And I said, well, I guess I don't have my sea legs yet.
But we haven't left the dock.
That's what she said. And then I said, there was a time when trouble died. Your parents was my talent. But since you've been around, like and hold my ground, I'm consistently losing my balance. I'm an accident waiting to happen. I'm a mishap about to ensue. I'm the toy on the stair, the three-legged chair, the hem that's been caught by a shoe. When my true love's arms started flapping, there was nothing my ankles could do. I'm an accident waiting to happen, so how did I happen to you?
Then what happened?
And she said,
When men say I'm sweet, they fall at my feet. My heart doesn't beat
terrible misunderstandings. Will it all work out in the end? Of course it will. It's a musical. And everything always works out in musicals. Nothing ever works out in real life. And the only people who burst out into song are the hopelessly deranged.
Now where's that philandering poet?
Bouncing!
How long does it take to seduce one
The
bride?
bouncing! You don't need Janet no more. I've been working on a new mind-reading act. Presenting Kitty the Incomprehensible! Now think of something.
I'm thinking of something, all right.
Wait, I'm getting it. Pick up some milk and a loaf of rye bread. And don't forget to shave your legs.
Kitty, you're reading your own mind, you idiot!
No wonder it was so easy.
Mr. Feltzig, it would seem that the wedding is proceeding according to schedule. Now it's time you received your just desserts. What do you say, partner? Should we whip up something special for Mr. Feltzig?
Yeah, what a Toledo surprise.
An inspired choice.
A Toledo surprise? I never heard of that one.
No, you haven't. Because those who have heard of it are generally never heard from again. We'll share the recipe with you. First, you chop the nuts. Then you pound the dough. Then you bake it up nice and slow. And then you got your Toledo surprise.
Could you run that by me again?
It's a very simple recipe, Mr. Feltzig. First, you chop the nuts. Then you pound the dough. Then you bake it up nice and slow. And then you got your Toledo surprise. Pace, all right?
Hold it! What's thine? What grace and what rhythm? Open your fists. Open. Right, yeah. And now, shake them. And now, give me that recipe one more time. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Chop the nuts on the dough.
All right.
Bake it up.
Come on.
Nice and slow. Then you got a Toledo surprise.
Now, sell it!
In the beach, peel the skin, push it up, throw it in. That's a tasty Toledo surprise.
How you cooking?
You beat it up, then you sweet it up, and you heat it up. If it tries to rise, don't let it, it's a snap. Try it, folks, with your bites, split your yolks, then you got a Toledo surprise.
Hey! You boys are naturals.
Honest.
Yeah. Keep it up. I'll go work on the contracts.
Hey.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, what's going on here?
I'm developing a new act.
Toledo surprise.
You mean you're putting gangsters in the show, but you won't put me in it? Then I'm in the union!
Kitty, you got it all wrong. This new act, it's for you, Kitty. And these boys are your backup dancers.
Backup dancers? Holy cat! What? Not a hot Toledo. That's a ballerina. What? Yes, Toledo. Cookery, yup, yup. Surprise! Squeeze the cream, grease the pan, lick the spoon, walk the plan, mix your mustard tuxedo. Toledo surprise!
Wait! I'm not going to give an announcement. Wedding is off! What? For the love of God, why?
That is not the bride, you idiots! That's the chaperone!
What? The wedding is on.
The wedding is off.
What?
Robert kissed a French girl. Her name is Mimi. She's very beautiful.
Janet, she was just like you, only French. Sweet mother of pearl!
Really?
Yes, madam.
What's all this commotion about?
Wedding, madam.
Is there going to be a wedding?
I mean, what a tragedy. What a wonderful, wonderful tragedy. Clear the floor, boys. I'll show you how it's done. If it tries to rise, don't let it. Toledo surprise.
Surprise!
Wait till it's ready.
Surprise!
Wait till it's ready.
Surprise!
Wait till it's ready.
Now I'm fucking ready! Surprise! Makes me twitch, makes me shake. This lizard takes me cake. Makes me like a torpedo. Toledo surprise!
Toledo surprise. Toledo surprise. Surprise.
Why are we dancing? Our dreams are in tatters.
Yes, yes. But the tune is so infectious.
Robert, this is the saddest day of my life.
Wedding bells won't ring, wedding bells won't chime. They will never celebrate the happy wedding time.
Well, that's that. The curtain falls and it's time for an intermission. At least it would be if we were at the Morocco Theater in New York watching the Drowsy Chaperone, which of course we are not. I don't like intermissions. They ruin the magic. They get you back into reality. One moment you're in a wonderful world of music and glamour, and then bang, you're surrounded by tourists, crinkling their candy wrappers and nattering about the lack of women's restrooms. It's cruel. Oh, it's a power bar. I have a bit of a blood sugar issue. I have to eat small meals all day or I get all jittery. I know it's rude, but you wouldn't like the alternative. Believe you me. I remember the day I got married. I didn't eat breakfast, and the ceremony wasn't until 4 in the afternoon. Always surprised I was married. Well, there you go. You shouldn't be going around making assumptions about people, now should you? I'm a very complicated person. I have to pee, but while I'm gone, you can listen to the beginning of Act 2.
I think a message from a nightingale.
about Caucasians that's so odd. They call a pretty lady abroad. They have hair upon their chest and they only have one God. Impossible!
Sorry. That was not from the Drowsy Chaperone. That was from another musical entirely. I'm sorry. I have a woman who comes in once a month. Can I say that I have a woman? Never mind. She claims things I absolutely refuse to claim, except she has a growing habit of putting my records and in the wrong state. Even though I tell her, no such records, Carmela, no such records. I suppose if I spoke to her in complete sentences, she'd do what I'd say. But that was another Gable-inspired show called The Enchanted Nightingale. A really bad piece of chinoiserie about an emperor who was told by a magical bird to marry his American elocutionist instead of his betrothed and ends up building the Great Wall of China. A slap in the face of 4,000 years of Chinese history. But it had some wonderful tunes. And did you see Beatrice Stockwell as American lady? And Roman Bartelli as the emperor? Yes, he was a man of 1,000 accents. All of them insulting. Act 2 of the Drowsy Chaperone begins with this. A haunting lament, sung by a very depressed bride, and she sings on her balcony in a pale blue light of a sympathetic mood, which is ridiculous because it's the middle of the day. But, anyways, when you're listening to this, try to ignore the lyrics. I know it'll be hard, but block them out, they're not the best. But the tune is beautiful, and it truly communicates the bride's state of mind. Just please ignore the lyrics. I always get a little bit twisty when I think of that tiny jacket lying on the pedestal, little sleeves dangling on the floor. Oh, monkey, monkey.
But I'll always sing that pedestal.
Pedestal.
My little monkey, come, my little monkey.
All right, now here it comes.
Wait,
Who are you?
I'm Janet Van.
Do you need anyone?
I don't need anyone.
What about the love of a man?
What do I care about the love of a man when I am adored by millions? Do I need to be so gloomy?
No, no, no.
Singing roses flowers to me every show. Gertrude Stein, she handed you a rose.
Now she really lets go.
Janet Vandergraff, ain't no nail that I can't hammer. I give up the life of glamour, like
Mercury, a little Jane Goodall. And that's another thing about musicals, is that when a character is in crisis, they sing and dance, which is way more interesting than whining about it. And that's the glory of musical theater. This is what I'm talking about. You manage to be happy for 5 seconds, and then the phone starts ringing.
What a beautiful day for a wedding.
Shall I have the fuse moved now, or would you prefer I wait till morning?
All right, well, I'm going to stop it here because I don't want any more distractions. Here we have 2 vaudeville performers who have slipped through the cracks of times. Noel Fitzpatrick and Ukulele Lil. I don't know much about them. I suppose Ukulele Lil played the ukulele. She does it in this show. Actually, I looked through my books. I even searched the internet. And the only thing I found were Tiny Tim's autopsy photographs. But still, they're both very charming.
Why would you have the pews removed?
The bride has called off the wedding, madam.
Oh, Underling, never listen to a bride on her wedding day. Love is a very complex emotion, Underling.
Yes, madam.
You can be very close to someone one day, while the next, you just want to strangle them. Do you understand?
I'm aware of the urge to strangle. Yes.
You see, that's just the nature of love. Love makes lovers worry, love makes lovers fret. But here's a fact on which we can depend. Just like long ago when Romeo loved Juliet, love is always lovely in the end.
Romeo and Juliet was a tragedy, madam.
Oh, I never read reviews. Love can start a quarrel, love can cause a din, but love has always been a trusty friend. Was a happy fate for Hank the Eighth and Anne Boleyn. Love is always lovely in the end.
Might I remind you, madam, that Anne Boleyn lost her head.
Yes, she was in love. Love was good to Eve and Adam,
Here we go again.
and Samson and Delilah too.
Might I pose a question, madam?
Oh, yes, of course.
Why does nothing I say to you ever get through?
Don't mind if I do.
Love is always lovely in the
And
I found that quite taxing. Excuse me, madam, while I pour myself a glass of ice water.
love sneaks up behind you. Love drops from above, but love would never consciously offend. Love has certainly been kind to me, and my true love. Love is always lovely in the end.
But the late husband was a brute.
I don't mean him, you silly goose.
Oh, madam.
Love is always lovely.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Love is always lovely in the end. Love is always lovely in the end.
Yes, that was charming, but to be frank, on some level, the number pisses me off. Now I'm going to say something here. And yes, I've been drinking, but I'm going to go on a limb here and say that love is not always lovely in the end. Often in the end, there are lawyers. and another thing. Was anyone else aware of that awkward sexual connotation of the title? Love is always lovely in the end. I mean, is it just me? I guess what I'm saying here is the number is uneven, irresponsibly so. I'm sorry, I just thought that needed to be said for the benefit of the young people. Don't worry, I won't interrupt anymore. Oh, but there's a moment coming up that I've been obsessed with.
Oh, there you are, Chaperone. I'm in a terrible state.
You certainly are. You can't go to a wedding looking like that.
Oh, you poor dear. Haven't you heard? The wedding's been called off.
Oh, not your wedding. Mine.
You're getting married? But to whom?
I'll be the wedding with baffled expression.
You're marrying Adolfo?
Yes, I know it seems crazy, but when I look into his eyes, his big, clumsy eyes, I get all drowsy. That's love, isn't it?
Yes, dear. That is love.
Ah, there you are. Okay, I'm gonna lay my cards out on the table. I've got a weak heart. Can't take the pressure. If this keeps any longer, the old ticker's gonna give out. So please, tell me, is there going to be a wedding or not?
Yes.
Oh, thank the good Lord in heaven.
Adolfo and Chaperone are getting married.
Oh,
What?
there you are. I have wonderful news. There's going to be a wedding.
Yes, we know.
You know.
Yes, we just heard.
But who told you?
I did.
But how did you know?
What difference does it make?
Mrs. Tartindale and I have been married in the garden at 7:30 this evening.
What?
Oh, yes.
Say, what kind of cockamamie wedding is this? Everyone's getting married but the bride and groom.
Oh, there you are, Janet. I've been looking everywhere for you.
Hello, Mr. Martin.
Please don't be that way. Can't you find it in your heart to marry me? Janet, it's our wedding day. George has gone to all this trouble and, well, I do love you more than I can say.
But you kissed another woman.
Yes. And I just can't understand it. I know this may sound ridiculous, but when I was kissing that French girl, why, it was just like kissing you.
Oh, Robert, you were kissing me.
You mean you're Mimi? Well, that French accent was remarkably accurate.
I developed that while I played the role of Monique in Hold That Baguette.
Now there you are. Before you do anything, Janet, think about this. No matter how well you play the part of a happy housewife, you will never, ever get another standing ovation.
I don't know. I'm so conflicted. Oh, please, Chaperone, just this once. Give me some advice that is coherent and appropriate to the situation. Should I marry Robert?
Okay, now here it comes. The moment I was talking about. Not only the culmination of the plot, but a moment that has fascinated me more than any other, and that has brought me back to this record again and again. Now here it comes.
Well, my advice to you is,
And this is it, listen.
while you have,
You see, you can't quite hear what she's saying because someone drops the cane. I'll play it for you again.
while you have,
Is she saying, live while you can, or leave while you can?
while you
I mean, it's Beatrice Stockwell, so it may just be a cynical quip, but that's exactly what you're thinking when you're standing at the altar. Live or leave. And you have to live. Because you do love her in some way. It's not an exact science, and ale doesn't come down from the sky, pointing to the one you're supposed to be with for the rest of your life. So one day you say to someone, you say, I love you, but you basically phrase it as a question, and they accept it as a fact, and then suddenly there she is, standing in front of you in a $3,000 dress. Tears rushing down her eyes, with her nephew who made the hoopah. So what do? You see, I was kidding, I was joking. No, you can't, you live. You choose to live. And so for a couple of months, you stare at the alien in the bed beside you, and you think to yourself, who are you? And then one day you say it out loud, and then it's trial separations, couples counseling, and all your conversations are about her eating disorder and your Zoloft addiction. And you're constantly redefining and reevaluating and revisiting before you finally lose the deposit on the house. And the whole relationship ends up on a particularly ugly note, with your only copy of Gypsy spitting through the air and hitting the living room wall. Still, in a larger sense, in a broader sense, it's better to have lived than left, right?
while you have.
I have no idea how many times I've listened to this.
Oh, thank you, Chaperone. Robert, my answer is yes, I will marry you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Well, Mr. Drowsy, looks like this wedding is a done deal.
Yeah, now you're in trouble.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
But there is. I found a replacement. A new leading lady. Presenting Katie the Incredible. All right, Kitty. Concentrate and show these boys how you can read my mind. Isn't she amazing?
Well, what are you waiting for? You ladies go put on your frillies. We'll all get married in one big club. That's how they do it in Utah.
Hold on. 4 weddings in one day? Looks like you're everybody's best man now.
I am?
Yeah!
I am!
He's George, that's George, the best man George.
I'm honored to be ruling what a best man ought.
He's basking in the glory of a fight well fought. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime, wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding time. Wedding bells will celebrate a
Minister, you may begin. Oh no, I forgot the minister! Wait, what's that? Who the hell are you?
I'm Trix, the aviatrix, queen of the sky. To Rio I was wending when my engine needed mending. I'll fix my navigatrix, and then I'll fly and let you lovers tag the knot. Sorry to crash the party, folks, but we'll have this fixed in 2 shakes, and we'll be off to Rio for Carnival.
Wait, the captain of a ship can perform a marriage. Yes! Yes!
Pilot is comparable to a captain.
Yes!
And the airplane is kind of like an airship. You know, like some people call it an airship.
Oh, shit!
Hey, I got it. The wedding will be off to Rio.
The bride and groom in the chapel may bring a tear to the eye, but what a thrill when lovers trill I do in the sky. When vows are set in the
Vows are set in the
daffodils fall.
I do in the sky.
Do you? We do. Do you?
We do. We do. We do.
Bride and groom
In a chapel may bring us here to the eye.
with rainbows bending before us, and the clouds meandering by. One can't restrain that sweet refrain. I do
In the sky. Vows are set in the meadow. The bees and daffodils sigh.
but heartbeats rush when sweethearts gush. I do, let's go.
I do in the sky. Well, go ahead. Do you see it?
Lizzie? Yes!
It's Rio!
Hurry up, Trix, we've got some honeymooning to do.
It's such a thrill when lovers thrill and fly, and clouds meandering by.
One can't restrain that sweet refrain. I do.
Oh, I can't believe it. It's a horrible old apartment with terrible wiring. Just concentrate. Just keep the show alive in your head. Don't talk to anyone. Don't let yourself be distracted. I'll find the fuse box. Everybody stay quiet.
It's a super. Hi,
Hello.
the lights are out.
Yes.
Yeah, we have to shut the power off because we're replacing the breaker panel in the basement.
Yes.
So we replaced it, and when we turn the power off, the breakers in all apartments trip.
Yes.
That's what happens this moment. So I gotta reset your breakers.
Right now.
It'll only take a second.
All right. This way.
Because I tried calling you earlier, but there's no answer.
Oh, yeah, I'm having a problem with my phone.
Ah, here we go.
Oh.
What was that?
Oh, it was just a record.
What kind of music was that?
You know, a show, a musical.
You like musicals?
No.
I love musicals. I go with my wife all the time. It's amazing what they can do nowadays. You know Miss Saigon? They landed a helicopter on stage in that one. Yeah, I've seen them all. I've seen Cats, Wicked, Les Mis.
Well, that's it. I'm almost ruined. One note away from the end of the show and the mood is broken. I should just play it again from the beginning. No, I can't do that, can I? Oh. It's so frustrating. You have to understand, I love the show very much, and I've never even seen it. My mother gave me the record when I was younger. This was just before my father left us. Oh, he didn't leave because of the record. Although I'm sure it didn't help matters. Look, I know it's not a perfect show. The spit take scene is lame, the monkey motif is labored, but it does what a musical's supposed to do. It takes you away to another world, and it helps you escape the dreary horrors of the real world. And it gives you a little tune to carry with you in your head, or when you're feeling blue, you know? As we stumble along on life's funny journey, as we stumble along into the blue, we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure of where to turn or what time and next waiting will happen. Stumble our way through life's crazy labyrinth. Bells will chime, tell me you're so